Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing the Autumnal Tag. I've seen this going around and I really wanted to do it, but for whatever reason, like October, as excited as I was for Halloween, I'm craving winter this year, which is super unlike me. Halloween is my favorite holiday, like above all else. And for whatever reason, like Halloween came and went and I'm like, where's the snow? I want it to snow. So I'm a little late on the autumnal tag, but I'm still excited nonetheless because I do love autumn and the orange leaves outside. So let's just get started. So the first question is a book that reminds you of fall. Nothing particular comes to my mind when I think of the fall season. But I guess anything like dark academia or just academic in general, because school typically starts in the fall and then carries on into winter, that it just gives me those vibes. So I guess I would say If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I freaking love this book. It was so good. This is basically following our main character, Oliver, who goes to an arts school and college and is in the Shakespeare program with a very small group of other people that have basically become his family. And you start off in chapter 1 learning that he's in jail and he's getting released soon. The sheriff who worked his case is really curious, like, what's the truth? I don't feel like you're giving me everything. I want to learn the truth before I go, like, when I go into retirement. So they set up this meeting and they discuss what really went down with the death of one of the students. And it is a ride. You fall so in love with all of these characters. It's freezing outside when you read it. Fantastic. I really enjoyed this one, and I will definitely see myself reading this like every August to October time. The other dark academia I would suggest would probably be A Lesson in Vengeance. This is by Victoria Lee. This is a beautiful special edition like reversal dust jacket, and I love it. It just gives me those dark academia vibes. This is following our main character. Oh no. Here's the downside to reading books. I never remember any of the characters' name. I remember Alice, which is not the main character whom we're following. Felicity. All right, there we go. So we are following our main character, Felicity, and she's returning back to the Dorwin School for Girls or something like that, after the tragic death of her best friend, and she's finally re-entering her senior year again. She took a break for her mental health. She's come back to just everything around her being different. And then she meets Alice, who is a method writer who's going to this school to learn more about the history of the Dalloway witches, the 5-sister coven deal that lived in the same house that they currently are living in on school property. This is basically just following them and their crazy, weird method writing situations where they create their own coven and start doing their own little witchy things, which is a big problem for Felicity because she's trying to take a big step back from the magical world. So, those would be my 2 dark academia picks that remind me of the fall. Especially Lesson in Vengeance, just because it's so dark and moody and it's like freezing outside the entire time as well. Question number 2 is your favorite autumnal book cover. I haven't read this yet. It really is like at the top of my anticipated TBR books. But I'm gonna go with Lobizona by Romina Garber. I mean, just look at these colors. Like, oh, I'm so excited to get to this. I don't entirely know what it's about. I know it is Latinx and has a lot of roots and talks about some heavier social topics like immigration, and something along the lines of folklore. I'm thinking werewolf, something like that. But the colors of this just remind me of fall entirely. Question number 3 is, do you read during the day or do you read at night? I want to say that I like to read in the mornings because I really do try to start my day that way, but I don't. I totally read at night. There's something about lighting a fire and reading in front of it, all cozy and warm, with it crackling around you. It's just so atmospheric, and I love it. It's just, it tops any other reading scenario I could be in. Just kidding, I skipped a question. Question number 4 was your favorite, or question number 4 was if you read during the day or night. Question number 3 is what your favorite autumnal drink is. So my favorite autumnal drink is probably hot chocolate. Super basic, definitely meant more for the winter, but I'm a sucker for chocolate, and especially if you make it warm. I also like closer end of autumn, I love some sparkling cider, like cranberry apple sparkling cider at Thanksgiving. So fantastic. All right, question number 5 is favorite spooky read. For this, I have to go with Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I'm sure we all are familiar with the tale, or at least the movie, which is so fantastic. It is a movie that I watch multiple times every year, especially in October, and I read this for the first time this year, and I really enjoyed it. Unpopular opinion, I think I like the movie more, but it was really good. This is following Coraline Jones, who moves to, I think, Oregon, which is where I live, with her family to the Pink Lady's house? Pink house? Pink, something like that. The small details I don't remember very well, but she moves there and there's a small door and she's very curious, and on the other side is another alternative world that draws her in with button eyes. It's fantastic. I highly suggest. It's a very short, quick read since it is kind of meant for children. Fantastic. Question number 6 is ultimate comfort read. Would anybody be surprised if I say The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune? This at all, there is nothing autumnal about this. This is 1000% a spring and summer read, but it's so wholesome and warm and just makes you feel good. You're so attached to all of these characters. In this, we are following Linus Baker, who is in, what is his profession exactly? He's a caseworker in the department in charge of the magical youth. And he's basically sent on a top secret mission to the House in the Cerulean Sea to check in on these 6 individual children who are more unique than the rest. And he has to see if their living conditions are fit for the standards of the children. I love it. It's such a comfort read. It's just such a feel good. You cannot go wrong. Number 7 is your favorite autumnal snack. I snack all year round, no matter what time of year it is, no matter what it is. My food doesn't typically change depending on the weather, but I would say that I probably lean towards like a popcorn snack mix more than anything. Favorite way to go: air pop popcorn with Parmesan and butter and Johnny seasoning salt, some pretzels, some pistachios, some chocolate chips, and some Cheez-Its. Is it the best for you? Maybe not, but is it delicious and good for my heart? Absolutely. Question number 8 is your favorite autumnal candle. Now, prior to this year, wouldn't have had anything to say. I'm not a big autumn winter smells. Like, I like vanilla in the winter, and I love like a peach and mangoes in the spring and summer. But this year, I did purchase some novel wicks, and these two, probably the best candles I've ever owned. This one we have Hocus Pocus, which is mandarin and cranberry, and this is probably my favorite candle ever in the history of candles. Like, I don't think I've ever purchased a better candle. Candle? Oh boy. Unfortunately, it is covered in beautiful glitters. Oh, it smells so good. It's covered in glitter, so it is a bit messy. but they're gorgeous and they're wood wicks and you can't go wrong. The second one I'd say is Ghost Stories. This is a pomegranate cider. Also, so good. This one's a bit, I'm not good at describing smells. This one's a sweeter, fruitier smell. This one's a bit softer and like a musky kind of like smell. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what we're gonna go with. Next question is favorite autumnal activity? Pumpkin patches and pumpkin carving, I suppose. Yeah, I don't really do a whole lot different in autumn except for like read and hang out inside. But yeah, I'd say carving pumpkins and just like basic cooking. Like I like cooking, especially when it's warm, or especially when it's warm food when it's cold outside. There we go. And the final question is your TBR. I've actually got a separate video for that because it was way too long to cram into this. So soon there will be a separate October wrap up and November TBR, which I'm super excited for. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me for this quick little video. Let me know down below, like, what's your answers to some of these questions? Like, what are your favorite autumnal things? Let me know. Maybe next year I'll go more all out and try out your guys' favorite autumnal things. All right, bye.